before introducing myself, let us see what are we going to learn today. Today we are going to learn to develop a simple application using Tkinter library. Okay, we are going to learn different widgets or basic widgets which are used to develop Tkinter library. We are going to learn about label. This is called label. We are going to learn about entry field. We are going to learn about button. We are going to learn about this root window, this root window, and then we are going to also learn about different attributes. How could we set different attributes to these widgets? Okay, now why do I teach by developing applications? I think teaching by using applications let learners see through why are they learning, what is the application of what they are learning. It is more fun to learn by developing some kind of application. Okay, now let me introduce myself. Anish Kumar Singh. I am a software engineer by profession and a tutor by heart, and it's a graphical user interface library which we use for developing desktop application in Python. You must be wondering what is library. So think of library as a collection of programs which has been already coded for you, okay, which you can import into your program and use the functionality or codes which has already been defined or developed for you. Okay, so that is library. So the first thing which we need to do for using Tkinter library is to import it. If you see any error while importing this library, then you have to install the Tkinter package. How are you going to install the Tkinter package? Then you could go to this file, and then you could go to this new project setup, and after that you should go to setting for new projects, click on setting for new projects, and then you'll find a Python interpreter. Here you'll find the Python interpreter. After that, go to Python interpreter, select the interpreter which you are using. Then you could see this small plus icon over here. Yes, now click on that. Now search for future, F-U-T-U-R-E. yes, you could see future over here. Then come down and click on install package. After you click on install package, and when the package is installed, then you can come back. Start coding over here. Okay, so the first thing which you do is import Tkinter library into your program. What this statement will do, what this line of code will do, it will import all the codes which has been written in Tkinter library to your program. Okay, so that you could use it. You could use its functionality, which you could use the functions which has already been defined for you in Tkinter library. Yes, so you write w equal to, w is just a variable name. You could take any variable name, and then t capital and then k. This will do what? What is the purpose of that? The purpose of this tk is to develop the root window for you. All the widgets which you will develop will be managed by this root window, or you can say will be integrated into this root window. Yes, now to see this window, what you need to do, w dot window. This will make your window visible. Now let us run this and see what we have. We have a simple window. Yes, this is the first step of developing what? To developing a window application. Yes, now let us move forward. Let us also see what functionality do we have in the application which we are going to develop. If I run this, the main functionality is this application will be used for adding numbers. Okay, for example 2 plus 2. If I press the enter, I'll see 4. If I do 200 plus 400, I'll see what? I see 600. So it is what? It is a simple calculator, simple addition calculator, which we are going to use, we are going to develop using Tkinter library. Okay. So let us first develop what we have developed the window. Now let us decorate our window. Let us see set the different attributes like background color for our window, the size specification for our window. Okay, let us do that first. I'll close this. Okay, so how do we set? Let's set the title of our window first. Okay, let us give the name addition program, or maybe app using Tkinter. Yes, let us make it a big small so that our whole program get integrated into this window. Now if I run this, I will see what? I'll see this heading. I could see this heading addition app using Tkinter into the window. Yes, integrated into this window. Yes, now let us give background color to our window. How could we give background color to our window? W dot, and then the function which we use for setting the background color is configure, the first one, and then the background color bg is for background color equal to, let's give the color orange, ORANGE. Okay, so this will do what? This will set the background color for our window. If I execute this right now, I'll see what? See, now our window has a background color as orange. Okay, now we can set the size of this window, the default size of this window. How could we set the default size? The function which we are going to use for setting the default size is what? Is geometry. Now you must be wondering, how do these functions automatically coming to your program? You have not written these functions. This is because these functions has already been written in this Tkinter library for you. That was the definition of library which I gave you. It is what? It is collection of all the programs which has already been written for you. So these functions like configure, that like title, the geometry, these functions has already been defined in Tkinter library. You are just calling those functions. Yes, and that is also one of the pros of Python programming language. Different functionalities has already been made for you, has already been developed for you and integrated into a library like NumPy library, like Pandas library, like Seaborn library, like Pygame library, like Turtle library. Okay, now geometry, inside geometry you can set the dimension of the window which you want. For example, if I want dimension 600 into 400. Now if I run this, I will get default window for my application. See, I got this default application for my window for my application. Now the next thing which we are gonna do, we are gonna develop a label. So how are we gonna develop the label? We have to give the variable name for our label. Let us give this label 1. Okay, equal to, and the function which is used for creating the label is lcaps label, the first one. Okay, now the first attribute, or you could say the first argument which you will pass inside this function label is the window inside which your label will stay, and the root window we have right now is W. Yes, inside which this label will stay. So I'll provide W. Okay, comma. Now you'll provide the text for your label. What text you want to give for your label? I'll say just sum, the text which I'll give for the label. Okay, then if I run this right now, you'll see nothing. See, the label has not been created for you. You do not see any label. Why? Because after creating the label, you have to pack that label to this root window. How do you do that? You do that using pack function. Okay, label 1 dot pack. This function helps you to integrate the label with the root window. Yes, now if I run this, I see what? I see this small level where at the top of our window. Now I don't want this level at the top of my window. I want this by the side of this window. So how could we set the side of this window? There is an argument which we can provide while packing our label with the name side, and we can set the side as left. We could set the side left for left, right for right, top for top, and for bottom we can set bottom. I'll show you an example. For example, if I set it left, if I run this right now, I see my label where on the left hand side. If I set it on the right, all capital, I'll see what? My label will be set on the right hand side. Yes, similarly I can set it on the top or I can set it on the bottom. Okay, and this goes for all the widgets which will create. We can set different attributes for this label, like background color, like the height, like the width. I could set the height in small. So the height is what? Height I will say, let's take it 5, and then width as 10, and let's set it small a bit. Let's set the background color as something green. I'm just taking random colors. You could design it based on your taste. And then we can also set the text color. Okay, now this using FG, let the text color be blue. Okay, now if I run this, okay, I forgot to give comma over here. Now if I run this, I see what? I see the label sum with text color blue and the background color as green. Okay, now let us height, I don't think is looking too good. I'll set the height as 2. Now let us run it again. Now it looks good. Okay, now after setting the label, now let us set the what? Now similar to label widget, let us create button widget. So I'll take the variable in button 1 equal to B capital. This button with B capital is the function which is used for creating the button widget. Okay, similar to label, where our button is gonna reside, it's gonna reside inside W, and then the text which we are gonna provide, text field is what? Let's provide enter, and then the background color we are gonna provide, the background color which we are gonna provide is suppose pink. Okay, and the color in which the text will be written, let's provide is, let's provide blue. Let's take the same color and let us pack this to our root window. I'm sorry, to our root window. This pack will do what? It will pack this our root window. Let us run this and see where are we till now. Yes, now see our button is where? Our button is by default at the top. We have to set it where? We have to set it the side as left so that it could stack over the label field sum. Okay, so let us set the side attribute as left. Yes, now if I run this now, I see what? I see a label sum and then the button enter. Definitely we could also, like label field, we could also set other attributes like width. I'll just copy this height and width so that it is in uniformity with the label field. Okay, now if I run this, I see what? I see both label and this. Now if I click on this enter button field, it's nothing is happening. We'll learn how could we call a function by clicking on this button. Okay, now what we want between this sum and enter, we want an entry field where user can put the entry, where user can put the number which we are gonna add. Okay, let's do it quickly. I'll put here before button and after label, the variable name I'll say entry1 equal to the function we use is entry, and because it's an entry field, so the text is not required. Okay, so we'll just provide the window where our entry field will stay. Okay, that's it. If I want, I could also give the background color. If I give the background color as something, if you want, let's give this brown. Okay, and you can give the FG as something as blue. Yes, input both background color also, and this as brown. Yes, now we need to pack this entry1 pack, and we need to pack this, and we need to keep this side as what? As left. Yes, now let us run this and see where are we. Awesome. So this is our label field, this is our entry field. If I enter something, it's not more visible, so let's go back and change the entry field as white. Now after that, if I run this, I see what? I see an entry field, a label field, and a button. Okay, now if I gonna provide over here, we should get what? We should get the sum of these two numbers. Okay, now let us call a function by when we click on the button. How can we call a function? Let us define a function. Okay, let us define a function somewhere. Let us define a function over here after entry. Let us define a function. We'll do it a bit small. Let us define a function, name it func sum, and let's just print something over here. Let's do nothing, let's just print. Here I am inside the function. Okay, now we could call any function use on the button click using the attribute called command. Okay, and we could write the function name over here, func sum. You don't have to provide this parenthesis, we just need to write the name. Now if I run this, what do you find in console? You'll find in console, whenever I am clicking this button, so what is happening? This command, when I am clicking this, is going to this function, and in this function we have written what? We have printed this, which is going where? Which is going on the console. You could see that in the console. Yes, now we don't want to print something to the console, we want to print something over here in the entry widget. Yes, we want the sum of the digits which user enters, we want the sum of those digits where in the entry field. How could we do that? Now there are three things which we need to do. First, we need to get this value first, 4 plus 5, from the entry field into a variable in this function. After that, we need what? We need to split this 4 and 5 based on what? Based on this plus operator. We need to split this. After splitting this, because 4 plus 5 is what? 4 plus 5 is in the form of a string. We need to split this first. We need to get two string 4 and 5, and then we need to add this both by casting this string into integer. Okay, we are going to see both split function and how do we cast. Let's see that. I'll just close this. Let's understand over here what is splitting. Splitting is a function or method of a string data type in Python. For example, when for example we have 4 plus 5, and I want to split this based on this operator 5, then I just need to call this function split. I need to provide the argument based on which I want to split this string. Okay, if I provide plus, then it will do what? It will split this string based on this plus, and it will store those splitted values into a list. You want to see? Let me just print this. If I print this and if I run this, see, we got what? We got 4 and 5. Yes, you could try it with other elements also. For example, if I want to split this 4 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 based on what? Based on comma, then I'll get what? I'll get all the elements divided with by comma in the form of a list. If I print this, see, I got what? I got 4 3 4, all the elements in the form of a list. So our first problem, to split this 4 plus 5 which we are getting from entry field, or anything which we are getting from entry field, into two different elements, is solved by using what? By using this string function. Now the next thing is called casting. How could we convert a string into an integer? Yes, we could convert it using casting. How could we do that? We could do that by writing the data type in front of the data type which we want to convert. For example, if I want to convert 4, which is a string, into integer, then how could I do that? I could write int in front of it. Now if I print this, if I print the type of this, or maybe let's store it as variable a, let us print the type of this, type of a. Now if I run this, we see what? The type of a is int. It was string before, but we have casted it, we have converted into integer. So now the type of a is what? Now the type of a is int. So using this split and casting, we'll achieve our goal of whatever written here in the entry field into finding the sum of those, whatever in string format, whatever user will write over this entry field, we can find the sum of those 2 or 3 or whatever values which are provided in the entry field. Yes, now let us, so the first job is what? Getting the value which is written in the entry field. How do we get that? We get that using what? Using function called get. So let us take the variable num equal to num string equal to entry 1, which is the name of variable where we are storing dot get. This will give us what? This will give us whatever we write over the, let us just print this and see what this will give us. Let us just print this num string. Okay, let us now run this. We see what? Suppose if I have written here 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, what do we get? See, it gave us 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 as if in the form of string. It's a string. See, so entry 1 dot get gave us everything which we have written in this entry field. Yes, now the second job is to split this based on this plus operator. How could we do that? We could do that using what? Using split function num list, because whenever we'll use split function, it will split all the elements and store it in the form of list. So I'll do what? Num string dot split, and based on what I want to split it, based on this add operator. Yes, now if I print this num list, I'm going step by step so that you understand. Yes, now if I run this, now if you write anything, suppose you write 4 plus 5, you'll see what? You'll see list of elements 4 and 5. Now our next job is to run for loop over the is to add this 4 and 5. Now how that will be achieved? let's use for loop for iterating over each and element of this list, okay, and then adding it. How could we do that? Could use using for loop for I in this list, num list, okay, and then using what, let us take a counter first, sum equal to 0, and then sum equal to sum plus what, we have to cast what, we have to cast I, because first time this 4, because we are iterating on this, first time this 4 will come in I and then 5 will come in I. So we have to convert this I into integer value, cast it into integer, and then add with sum. So initially sum will be 0, so 0 plus 4 as an integer, so 4 will be stored in sum. Now when it will go to second iteration, then what will be stored in I? 5 will be stored in I. So in first loop 0 plus 4 was sum was 4. So let me explain this, how this works. For example, we have given 4 and 5. So initially s will be equal, sum will be equal to 0 plus this I will be 4 as a string, we have casted it into integer, so it will be 0 plus 4, so sum will be 4. Now in second iteration, 5 will be stored in I, so sum will be equal to sum is right now what, 4 plus I is 5, so equal to sum will be equal to 9. Yes. Now after coming out of this loop, we can do what, we can print the sum. Yes. Now if I run this, I'll see what, let us see, suppose if I run 4 plus 5, if I print, see we got 9. If I run 10 plus 10 plus 10, I got what, I got 30. But this is not what the end goal is. I want to display the sum over here in entry field. How could we do that? We could do that by using the function insert. Okay, let us do that. So instead of printing here the sum, we do what, we do entry 1 dot insert. Now it takes 2 arguments. You could provide 2 arguments. First is the location where you want to print. Okay, the 0, if this is the entry field, I'll show you the entry field. For example, let us just show it on the 0th index. So 0 index, and then let us choose sum. So if I run this now, this first position is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, these are different positions. This is 5th position by space. So these are different positions which you can provide over here in first argument where you want to insert the value, and this is the value sum. The second argument is the value which you want to insert. Right now you have inserted where, at the first 0 position. Yes. Now if I write here 4 plus 5 6, if I hit enter, see 6 plus 10 is inserted, the value 10 is inserted where, at the 0 position. But this does not look nice. We want it should be displayed where, at the end. 4 plus 6 and the sum should be displayed at the end, and also with equal to. Yes. How could we do that? So instead of 0, we could calculate the length of this 4 plus 6, and then based on, and then we can add 1 into that position, and then we would see what, let's calculate the length of this string which we have provided, and then we'll display after that. So instead of 0, let's do here what, len, and then length of what, length of this num string. because this is the variable where you are inserting what, where you are storing the value which you are getting from the entry field. So we'll calculate the length of that, and then plus 1, we'll store it there. If I run this right now, let's see what, if I see right now 200 plus 300, which should be 500. If I insert enter, see 500, still there is one problem, there should be equal to. So how do we get equal to? Simple, we'll do what, in insert. How could we do that? Let's convert this sum, which is an integer value, into string str. Yes, and we know that we can use add operator to concatenate to string. Now this sum is into string, now we can concatenate it with what, with equal to. Yes, now if I run this, if I enter here 200 plus 300, if I hit enter, we see what, we see 500. So we have learned basic widgets and their attribute by developing a simple add calculator. Okay, hope you have enjoyed the video, you have learned a lot from the video. Now the request which I have is, please subscribe to this channel, share it as much as you can. Show you our next application which we are going to develop. The next video we are going to develop this, we are going to learn about Pygame library, and we are going to develop this application, which is a simple game, yes, which we can develop using Pygame library. Yes, it's just loading. We are going to develop this game using Pygame library, which you can play. It's a breaking brick, and we are going to in our next video we are going to learn about how can we develop this. And while developing, we are going to learn different basic concepts of function, data type, loop, all those concepts.